Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with Spellbinders and the Glimmer foil kit of the month for June. And for June, they have these absolutely gorgeous sentiments that you can foil onto your card fronts, on a panel to attach to your card front, or however you would want to have them be the star of the show. Also, as with your Glimmer kit of the month, you also will receive one of the foils, and in this case it is black. So you get this shiny result, and it'll look like you heat embossed, but this time we are foiling. So we will be using this because it will actually add the best impact. Now, for this video, I'm going to do a couple different things. I dug into my stash. So I went through a couple of the paper pads from, yes, I'm walking away here, okay, from previous kits. This one is the watercolor paper pad, and this one's the Stay Wild. I loved the prints. And, excuse me. So I just pulled some papers out from this because the other die that I'm going to be using is also by Spellbinders. And this is called Friends and Family Frames. And I pulled out the frame. I absolutely loved this idea. So you have these sections, and when you die cut it, it's literally just the outline of the frame. So I did take care of the die cutting already, so you will see that just a little bit later. So I'm going to be using some pattern paper. I'm also going to be using some backgrounds that I've made previously, but let's get started when it comes to foiling these. So I'm going to start with some inked smush or splattered backgrounds that I have already started. My Glimmer system is heating and it's actually ready to go, and I'm just going to choose just a couple of them, and I'm just going to put them in different areas onto my panel. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to use some washi tape to keep that secured onto my card. And I'm going to get my foil ready as well. And I'm going to use the black. Let's see here. I like to get as close to the size of the sentiment as possible, but I don't stress if I don't completely get there, because I do want to make sure that I have enough to cover it. So again, I'm going to place my foil right in the corner of my cardstock so that I know where that is, and then I'm going to place my image on top of that. And I always pray that I have it the right way. So I'm going to make sure that this is straight. So now I'm going to grab a piece of very low tack washi tape. And I'm actually going to get 2 strips going here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one here, and I'm just going to put one here. And I'm going to hope, well, you know what? I'm going to put one here. I don't want the tape to sit on the foil too much. I'd like to keep that up off the foil. I'm just going to bend it to the back, and that's going to hold all of my pieces in place. I do tend to use a lot of washi tape, Just say. I'm going to place this onto my Glimmer system here. I'm going to hit my timer, and I am also going to set my plates on top of that as well. I do place some cardstock in between the two plates just to add a little touch of pressure. And in the meantime, I am going to get this one ready. Now, I think for this one, let's see, that one says happy birthday. This one says congratulations on your special day. This one says friends make everything better. This says a little note to say thanks. And I forget what the one I just used there too. So I'm going to use this one because I think that will look absolutely perfect right there. And I'm going to position a piece of washi tape right here because I want that to sit right there. So I'm just getting my pieces ready, and I'm going to push along this edge here. And I'm going to try to do a better job cutting. Cut up. I do keep all of my scraps all the time because they can be utilized for other projects. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to bend it, and I'm going to take it as far back as I can. Take that right in there, and I'm going to push this up just a little bit. And I'm going to flip her over. And once this one's done, I will glimmer this. So once I'm back, I should have both of these glimmered. Okay, so I'm back with these two. Now, when I lifted this up off of my plate, it had already come off. So that's exactly how it came out. I love the look of the ink smushing and the way that font looks. Again, just taking some backgrounds that you already have made, and you have them in your stash and you just don't know what to do with them. Pull out your Glimmer system and add a sentiment to it. And it's great with the Glimmer system because you can go right on to that piece. So that's what that one looks like. I absolutely love it. I think it looks really good. Now, what I also like to do when the sentiment or the image is very fine detailed, sometimes there's foil that sticks in the center. So I just like to take a rough brush, and this is an annoying noise, I'm sure, and I just go back and forth, and then that will actually smooth out your image just a little bit better. So that's what this one looks like. So let's see how this one came out. So I'm going to pull back my washi tape first, and I'll be able to flip her back. So this one I probably didn't. Now here is something interesting. Very, very interesting, and I do kind of like it. So if I'm going to bring this really close, so get ready. So if you look, now these splatters that are on this piece of cardstock are oxides. These here, this ink smushing is distress ink. This is not an oxide. Yes, this is distress ink. But if you look, I really do like this. In some cases, it's really cool. It did not foil over the oxide. So like in here, this area. Now this area, it did. So maybe it's also dealing with pressure. But like that dot right there, let me come some more center here. The O in the 2, I'm loving these little splotches that went through that. So it's almost like the sentiment is coming through and pushing through that. So I think this will make a great note card. I really do like that. But again, guys, if you've seen my videos previously, I love anything that's against the norm. You know, to me that looks grungy. It looks, can't say vintage, but I do like something that it's just different. Not that I don't love everything else, but I really like that effect. So that might be something that I'm going to continue to work with. So I'm going to set these aside. I have two more plates heating up. So once they are done, I'm going to show you then the second one of the second cards and how I'm going to use that frame. And then at the end, I'll show you all the cards that we made for today. I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back and I have cut my images out, again, using the black foil. They're going to be a little bit bigger than the sections, but I'm okay with that, and you'll see. So again, I used previous papers. These papers here are from the Stay Wild paper pad. And again, if they are still available, I will definitely link down. This piece of cardstock here is measuring 6 by 6. And then of course, this is our die. And you can see that just fits in there. All right, now you can make it longer if you want to have the same border that you have on this side here. But I was not looking for that. So what I'm going to do is I want to put the frame down, and I do want to have that centered. So I am going to use my liquid adhesive, and I'm just going to put some small amounts down because I do want this to be flat down onto the card. I'm going to go around the outside and then come in through the inside. All right. Okay, so we have that in place. Now I can place, or I can play with the color. So these are the 4 papers that I used, because remember, one of them is my sentiment. So for this one here, I know my sentiment is going to sit here. So basically, all of these blocks here, I do not need. All right, so I'm going to set those aside. So now we're going to look at, and we just got to figure out which one it is. So, okay, so that's this one here off to the side is this one. Yes, so I'm going to put these over here. I'm going to get rid of these because I know we're not using those. I know this one down here is this one, because that's pretty simple. And I know this little tiny strip is this one. So now I already know that that little strip, I definitely want that pattern paper. So now I can get rid of those. And I put them in my scraps. And I'm going to take this out. And let's see, I think I'm kind of liking that one. I believe. So I'm going to set these aside. So now the option that I have left for this one is this floral. And you know what? I am not crazy about that cut. So I'm going to pull this one back out and see what that floral looked like. And yep, that's the one that I want to go with because I can see more of the floral. So that's my reasoning through that. So these are the blocks that we are going to go with. And this is a great, if you like die cutting, puzzle piecing, this is a great piece to have. So now I'm going to look at my pieces. I'm going to now put the puzzle together. So I'm going to set this one in, and I'm going to set this one in place as well. When it comes to the other ones, I want to add some dimension to my piece, of course. And I just want to make sure that's nestled in there. So for this one here, I'm going to add a layer of foam squares. Just going to put those down. I'll remove the release paper. Now, this is the type of card that I will hand deliver to my recipient, and you are going to see why in a moment. I mean, I've already have that layer of dimension. This one here that I can't get out. There we go. For this one here, I'm going to be adding 2 layers of foam squares. Now you can also use your foam tape. I'm just using what's absolutely right in front of me. And again, I am just doubling up the foam squares as I go. So I think you're figuring out what I'm actually going to be doing for the sentiment. Yes, I am going to be putting 3 layers of foam squares. Then you get this step effect onto the design, which I think is really cool looking. So I'm going to remove the rest of the release papers, and now I'm going to set this in place. And yeah, these are really sticky. I'm going to move that so I don't stick to that. Can't make up my mind here, sorry. And now I'm going to set that down. And actually, for this one, I think I'm going to have some fun with it. Why not make it interactive? And what do I mean by interactive? Let's add a wobble. I love my wobbles. Love, love, love them. Okay. So that is what we're going to add to this. Why not? I think it would be awesome. And again, it is something that you can put in the mail. I'm not saying that you can't. And I always forget how to put these on. So I'm just going to go this way. So I'm going to put that in the center. Going to find the release end that I always fight with. I do. I always fight when it comes to separating pieces out. Okay. So now I'm going to make sure that this is centered. Now again, this is a little bit bigger than the space than what we created. And of course I'm crooked. All right, but that's okay. We're going to, let's see if we can lift that up. Yes, we can. All right, so we're gonna put a little bit of glue on that. All right, now let's try this again. See, this is what happens when you just turn on, you know, your phone. Okay, there we go. So you can see we've got this going on here. We've got our different levels going on there. But again, it's just something a little bit different. But again, we can use those sentiments. It's a nice mosaic card. It's a nice side card. You could also put this in a frame for somebody, and then they can set that up. Or you could actually create, you know, a little tiny easel to come off of that, you know, a little tiny fold up, so that it can just sit there as well. But yeah, this would, even though I used the wobbler, I mean, this would fit into an envelope, but you would need a 6.5 by 6.5 card base, or a 6 by 6. So you'd need to create that as well. So let's look at all of the other cards that I made using these awesome sentiments and just showing the different ways. Okay, so again, these are the Glimmer plates that you will get in your kit for June. It's an absolutely beautiful font, some great sayings, and then here are the cards. So pulled again some backgrounds from my stash that I had. Again, this is Distress ink smushing, and I just put that in the center, and then I just added a border. So to accent and emphasize the sentiment, since it's in black, I used a very fine matte in black, and then I used a matte in one of the colors that was sitting in the background to layer that card up, and to make it look like it's coming towards you or going away. For this one, I just love the oxides on the craft paper. I think all of those colors look great, and I did the same thing. I matted it in black and used one of the lighter colors as the main mat as well. So again, this is cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This mat is cut 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then this top design is cut 4 by 5 1/4. So we have very small borders or mats going in behind, but I do love the way that looks, and I need to keep visiting that to see how that foil goes when it comes to the oxides. And again, it could have been something just as simple as I didn't have enough pressure, but I do love the way they looked. I love both of them. But then again, I'm partial. I love ink smushing. So again, I made our big panels. This piece here is cut 6 by 6. So you can put it on a 6 by 6 card base, or a 6.5 by 6.5 to have a border going around it. Or you can put this in a frame, just don't have anything front, because again, we put a little tiny wobbler on here when it comes to that, and we've got some different levels of dimension, and it's perfect. This is absolutely perfect when it comes to these sections in here for your scraps. So it's a good scrap buster. And then I did another one. It was set a little bit differently. You can see the two differences in it. This I did not put a wobbler, so I only have dimension coming here and coming here, and these 3 pieces here are completely flat onto the base. And then again, with some of those pattern papers that have images just in a small area, you know, you can do pattern, when you do your pattern puzzle here, or your pattern piecing, you know, you can be specific as to where you cut from that die. And again, that die and the papers are from a Stay Wild paper pad and the watercolor paper pad. And then this frame die that I used, it is called Friends and Family Frames. And there's so many more items. You get some hearts, you get some other squares inside, you get some sentiments that says friends, forever, love. So if you are a scrapbooker, this might be something to look at as well. So these again are the projects that I made using the Glimmer foil kit of the month for June. Beautiful sentiments. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you dig out your Glimmer foil system. Use what also you have in your stash, whether it's different frames or anything like that. But I do hope you enjoyed it. I hope I gave you some ideas for when you receive your kit. Now, if you're interested in this monthly kit to help build up your stash for the Glimmer Hot Foil system, all the links will be down below in the video description. If you're on your computer, just hit the show more below the video. And if you're on a mobile device, just hit the arrow down so that it expands and you will see the links down there. If you have any questions, please leave those down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I hope everyone is having a great day. I hope you're having some beautiful weather. We are finally having some really, really nice weather. No rain, which is always awesome. But I do hope that you enjoy. Please continue to and also remain healthy and continue to stay safe as we continue on with this journey. But always remember what's most important for me. Always be creative. Till next time, guys.